Can you believe we've been doing this 20 days? It has gone by so fast. I would love to hear in the chat what your takeaway is so far, or you can unmute yourself and share your takeaway, whichever way you'd like to do it. Anybody want to unmute? We can start however we want. It's our show, right? Miriam, what's your takeaway the last 4 weeks?
You know, I've loved this. It's really been a bright spot for me every day, and I love hearing all the wisdom from all of your guests and just hearing that we're not alone in all this, and it's okay to feel a little down at times, and it's okay to pull yourself up. It's okay to reach out to people and help other people feel good, and that makes your heart and soul feel good. And it's really just been, like I said, a bright spot for the last few weeks for me.
And you're in a bright spot outside. That's awesome. Deanne, you've been here most days. What's been your bright spot last month?
Yes, hi. Just having like-minded people to gather with, I think, has helped keep me sane. As far as the shows, since I had already seen the movie May I Be Frank, it was fun to see him again. I'd say he was my favorite.
You know, what's so funny about life, you never know who you're going to hear from, who's your teacher that day. You know, so I love hearing the little nuggets. Sean B., is this your first time on?
That's all right. It is my first time on. I'm Joellen's next door neighbor.
Well, how great is that? Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you'll go back and listen to some of the other shows.
Definitely will.
I want to tell you, I've loved that our team has done a good job putting together the one page afterwards. You know, I was talking to my back end guy, Zach, today, and we're talking about what do we want to take forward from the Rhythm and Resilience series, and how do we mix that with the podcast and some wins like that. Joellen, is this your second time or third time?
This is only my second time live, but I've watched some of the recordings.
What's some of your takeaways?
Well, I was telling Shauna last night, we were standing out in the yard. It was so beautiful. And we were talking about how beautiful the weather was or something. And so I said, I started talking about this series. And I was telling her and her husband, Dave, that a couple of things that keep resonating with me, and I can't remember his name, the one I was on. But he said, the world is falling in love with itself again. And the other thing I wrote down that day was Mother Nature is giving us a timeout. Because we were talking about how, like, the air feels cleaner, there's more animals out, just because of the lack of industry going on at cars and all of that. It just seems to be a healthier place to live right now. And then on the comment about the world is falling in love with itself again, it's like all these people that you didn't know before, maybe you knew them and you didn't spend time with them. I mean, people are just, this goodness is coming out, right? Sean and I live on a golf course, and we were talking about how every day we see these families golfing with their teenagers and their preteens, and you never saw that before. I mean, 16, 17-year-old girls would not normally on a Monday afternoon or a Saturday morning go golfing with their parents, but since they can't go hang out with their friends, they're spending a lot more time with their families, and it's beautiful to see. So that's
a bonus. I got a chance to share with BB Well this week, and it was fascinating. And the words that I kept hearing, and once again, if you've been following me, I get this chill right here, is that this is healing our teenagers. So I'm thinking most grandparents would say, if this helped heal our future generations, sign me up all day long. So I feel, oh my gosh, and that's the first time I've said that, but wow, really feeling that. Dorothy, you've joined us I think you've been on here almost every day. Any wisdom you want to share with us that you've learned the last few weeks?
Well, I think this is just wonderful. I have certainly enjoyed each and every speaker, and I've enjoyed getting to know you a little more. And I think the one thing that resonated with me the most was, I believe John said it, don't waste today's graces on tomorrow's problems. And I think that we're all a little uneasy about what's happening, but just like the Joellen just said, there are so many wonderful things that are coming from this. Families getting together, friendships solidifying even more, and making new friends. So it's okay. I've really enjoyed this so much. Thank you for doing this with all these interesting people.
Well, you know, I do know some characters. Crystal and I laugh a lot of times thinking, oh my gosh, you know, the life we've had the privilege of living. So, Dorothy, thanks for joining us. Dorothy, and I can't remember, you're from Church of the Resurrection, is that right?
Yes.
How did you hear about this series?
Well, I actually you on your website for a while and have been thinking I need to come visit you, and just hadn't done it. And then I saw this, and this just sounded like something I wanted to do. So I'm very, very interested in wellness and mindfulness and being more in touch with ourselves. And you just bring that right to the forefront.
Well, it's been so fun for me to have, you know, when I speak, typically there's people all different ways, but I feel like you're all right here with me, especially when I can see your face. And
yes.
I did a corporate session today via Zoom, and it's almost more fun except the interaction. So I had to start with the interaction this time just because I miss talking to people like this. How about Sean in California?
I mean, again, Michelle, thank you so much for putting these together. I've been super busy with Hoffman stuff, and you know, we've been creating and putting our courses out there on a virtual platform. So I haven't been able to attend as many of these live as I would love to, but just the content has been really amazing, and the wisdom and heart that's been displayed in the presentations has just been uplifting. So I'm at a place today where I really need uplift. So thank you.
Well, you're going to get some today, sister. You're going to get some. Liz, did you find your mute button? Do you want to say anything before we start to shift? I can't seem to unmute. All right. She's impressed by the people. Bunch of crazy folks. I mean, a bunch of fascinating folks. Eleanor, how about you? Eleanor, you've been behind the scenes the whole time. Any thoughts?
Hi, everyone. I've loved this. And I love Dr. Robin. I think I have the greatest job ever. But I mean, there's been so much. So I've been on every day. Things like I still hold my fingers, like Shemaine, the acupuncturist, suggested. I loved Haley Bland Walsh. She did Casey Jim. One of her quotes was, "It's about the pivot." So I love that, just pivoting when you're at a block, just pivot around it. Sonia, and from yesterday, the intuition, I reached out to her daughter. I thought she was great. Reverend Patricia, I reached out to her. She said a prayer for me. So I really enjoyed being able to connect further with people who have just, just been smiling on us and, you know, everyone else in their community. I moved back in with my parents in January. So there's been a couple of days where I'm like, we need to watch this replay. So I watched Luke Wade and Edie with them. I put it down on our basement TV, pulled up YouTube. So we had a couple of like mini R&R movie nights. But yeah, so it's, I've been very thankful to be able to hear stories and just get to know everyone. And it's been fun to have our regulars here, like Miriam, Liz, and Dorothy, and then, like you said, a couple of the other people who are coming on and off. And so it's been nice. It's been a good routine every day, just like you said, about setting a new rhythm. So this has been like a highlight for the rhythm of what's been going on.
I'm going to ask for all your help. We're going to do a visioning session on Monday, Zach and Eleanor and myself, and thinking about what do people need going forward. And I would love to hear your thoughts so that we could keep that in the back of our mind as we go forward. I picked 12:30. I'm not sure why I picked 12:30, to be honest, maybe over lunch. And, you know, we started out with almost 30 people. I think we've had some dwindle, which is okay. We do have, I think, people listening on the other end. And Mother Teresa says, never worry about the numbers, just worry about the one closest to you. And so, but as we think about how do we create rhythm and resilience, I don't believe it's a 30-day process. I think we've dipped our toes in, and over the next 6 to 18 to 24 months, it's going to be even more imperative that we continue to be resilient as we go through this universal reset. So I would be so grateful if you would take a moment. Eleanor, put my email in the chat box if you don't mind. If you would take a moment and shoot me your thoughts so that we can co-create together. This really is about co-creating. And so we'll get started with today's show. And thanks for taking time. And Meredith, I'm not sure, have you got a chance to listen to any of the shows?
I started to listen to them. Sometimes 12:30 is a tricky time for me, but I'm excited about going back and hearing. You've had a great group of guests, and I'm excited about hearing more from them.
Well, great. Well, you get to be kind of our closer of this part of the series. I want to remind you that we're going to continue, and I will tee you up for that at the as we start to around the end of the show. You know the drill. If you have questions, put them in the chat section. If you have any love you want to share, put it in the chat section. So the takeaway that I'm noodling from yesterday from Sonia Choquette, your brain is the talking part of you. Your intuition is the listening part of you. So basically, to kind of dumb that down, talk less, listen more was my takeaway. And here I am talking too much, but that was my takeaway yesterday as we get started. I just encourage us all to take a deep breath. It's Fun Friday, and today's guest is Meredith Suarez. Meredith serves as the Director of Development and Marketing of Junior Achievement of Greater Kansas City, joining the organization in 2013 after completing her Master's of Arts Management degree in Nonprofit Management from the Columbia College, Chicago. She began her non-for-profit career with National Veterans Art Museum in Chicago, serving as the Director of Development Programs. As a senior leader at Junior Achievement, Meredith has been instrumental in growing community plus fund support and elevating the visibility for the organization throughout her 7-year tenure. You're in for a real treat today. She's got much more of a bio, but I really want to get started. Welcome, Meredith, to Fun Friday.
Thank you so much. And I'm so delighted that I was included on Fun Friday. I mean, what could be better than that? That's exciting.
Well, we've had some fun. To recap, we had, Luke Wade helped kick us off. And by the way, we have bingo, Rhythm and Resilience bingo next Wednesday night. And I encourage you to join us virtually. Casey Crew's we hired them to do that for us, spread the love there. We had Sonia Tolley, who just was a young, vibrant 30-year-old that just basically took us by storm that day. And to be quite transparent, I don't remember last week. So I remember those two though. So Meredith, share with us a little bit about your story and kind of, I'm going to keep it kind of pre and post-COVID, during, we don't know post-COVID yet. So give us a little bit of your background, why you love not-for-profit work.
I just love the community building and being somebody. I've lived in Kansas City for 12 years. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and I never really had, and Chicago, everybody in Chicago is a really huge metro area. And I never felt the connection to community or a sense of me playing a role or playing an instrumental role in making my community what I wanted it to be until I came to Kansas City. And it's been one of the things that I've been delighted by, that I'm grateful for, that continues to inspire me, is the way that we come together as a community in Kansas City. And so knowing that I can get up every day, and whether I feel productive or not, I know that I'm moving the needle. And in our case, in our organization's case, it's to help children be successful and believe in themselves and have the tools to do it. And so to be a part of a mission like that in a community that has become my home fills me with a lot of pride and inspiration.
Well, we're blessed to have you in Kansas City. That's for darn sure. Talk about junior achievement. I personally was not familiar with that until about a year ago when we had the mentoring something. What was that called? Mentoring girls?
Future Women's Leadership Forum.
Yeah, that was just a home run day. And so I just got a chance to learn more about it. So what's junior achievement?
So we are a 100-year-old organization. We just had our 100th birthday in 2019. And we've been in Kansas City since 1955. And what we do is really give young people the opportunity to believe in themselves and have the tools to do it. And how we do that is by preparing them for the future with financial education, learning about careers, how to explore careers, how to learn about what their skills are and their interests and how they can parlay that into a career, and how to become an entrepreneur and start and run a business.
You guys have some exciting news. We have lots of exciting news. Talk about your new facility in Kansas City.
We do. So for the first time in our organization's history, we are embarking on a very large capital project that will expand our middle school and kind of early high school program opportunities. This facility will be at 47th and Mission in Kansas City, Kansas. We are slated to open in late 2020. And this will be a part of, Junior Achievement has two primary, what we call capstone programs. And these are kind of, real world experiences where students get intentional curriculum delivered to them in the classroom. And then they get a field trip where they can come and experience these, real world scenarios, and they apply what they learn in the classroom on these field trips. And so we will be opening the Youth Learning Lab this fall, and that will have one of the two capstone programs in the Junior Achievement portfolio called JA BizTown. If you're familiar with Junior Achievement, they have one of these facilities in St. Louis. They've had that Junior Achievement BizTown program there, along with JA Finance Park, which is the other capstone program. They've had that for about 15 years in that community. I think there's about 25 other of these facilities in the U.S. So we're really excited about having the opportunity to bring more deeper, richer experiences to middle school students in Kansas City.
And what corner is it going to be on 47th and Mission?
It's right on, and I'll probably get the direction wrong, but it's going to be in is it the east side of 47th and Mission, on the other side of Joe's Barbecue, in the shopping center that has 1889 Neapolitan pizza, if you're a fan of that place, which I have become a huge fan of that place. Right next to there's a Ginger Sue's in there. There's a Soul Patch Barber, Gus's Fried Chicken. There's a number of restaurants in there, and it's across the street from the Walmart. And we're going into what used to be the major thrift storefront there. That place is now vacant, but you can see some branded Junior Achievement graffiti on the windows if you drive by.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. I believe you're the first and only non-for-profit person we've had on this series.
Oh, really? Oh,
so,
how fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking through the guests, and I believe that's a true story. I mean, we may all run businesses that feel like not-for-profits, but they're the true entity of it. So share a little bit about how the not-for-profit world's navigating, A, your kids are not able to come to you, B, funds. Talk about some of that.
Yeah, I think that the biggest, when we talk about finding rhythm and resilience, the biggest shock for us as an organization was children not being in school for an extended period of time. I mean, that's just a concept that nobody ever thought that they would have to think about. And here we were with very little time to prepare for that. Just kind of being thrust into, okay, kids are not in school, parents are in charge, we're going to do distance learning, what does that look like? There were just so many, in the very beginning of all of this, there seemed to be so many problems to solve, and it seemed like things were changing on an hourly basis, and there was just no way to get ahead of it, it felt like. Like we're just reacting to a game of dodgeball, and there's just balls being thrown at you every single hour. Here's another problem to solve. Here's another problem to solve. But at the end of the day, what we found is that after basic needs are met, so if you have food, clothing, and shelter, and especially if you've been able to retain your job during this time, the next emergency was, how do we educate our children? How do we keep learning happening? And not, it sounds cliched, but not to leave kids behind, to keep them engaged, keep them excited about learning. And so we've responded by, after we kind of recovered from, okay, kids are not in school, and now Kansas is closing, and now Missouri is closing, and we don't know what's happening with summer program, and we don't know what's happening in the fall. How we have responded to that is by thinking about who our stakeholders really are, and still focusing on helping kids, but how we can best help kids right now is by making opportunities for curriculum and experiences available to educators and to parents. And Junior Achievement is not a program that parents sign their children up to participate in. Our primary community partners are schools and school districts. And so how is it that now that parents are the primary educators of life skills as well as math, science, reading, those types of things, how do we get resources to them and make this accessible? And so we have a learning link where we have curriculum coming out every single week. We have some programming from our national office that parents and teachers can access, but we as a local market office of Junior Achievement have been creating our own curriculum and creating activities that parents can do with their children, and family activities that the families can do together. And they're very fun, they're engaging, they're by grade level, age appropriate, but it's all the things that kids still need to know. How do we create a budget for groceries? How much do we have to spend? And now how do we shop for groceries right now when we can't really go to grocery stores and safely shop for groceries? And what does that look like? And how do we spend money? And if we're buying things with a credit card, kids aren't seeing actual cash being exchanged. So what does that look like? How do we set a budget and help kids understand how much things cost when there's no physical exchange of money happening? And so we've been doing that every single week since this all started. I think we've been at home for 7 weeks now, and we've have probably 5 or 6 weeks of curriculum available on a weekly basis for parents and educators to access.
What a great resource. How do people find out about that?
So we have it available on our website. If you go to jagkc.org, we have some tools there. You can also sign up, and I can get this information out to you too, so we can send this out. You can sign up for the JA Learning link, and then every Sunday night you get an email with the curriculum for the next week.
And what age group is that directed towards?
It's K through 12.
K through 12.
We've
Awesome.
mostly focused on the younger grades, just because that seems to be the place where people are needing a little bit more help and more opportunities for the younger students to get involved. But we're a K-12 program, and I have a second grader at home, and I've been doing the JA lessons and activities with him, and it's been a really fun way for us to spend time, and it's something that he looks forward to, something that he looks forward to learning about. And we need to keep it fun, right? I mean, it's May, it's 80 degrees outside and sunny. I mean, even if kids were in school right now, they'd all have senioritis. Everybody's kind of ready to be done with the school year at this point. So if we can keep kids excited about learning, JA is part of the solution to that.
Well, we're celebrating you and JA for the stuff they're doing, without a doubt. I'm curious, tell me about the community support. I'm watching, and you think about the movie. If you have not seen the documentary on Mr. Rogers, there's a documentary and then there's a movie with Tom Hanks. I'd recommend you watch both. I'd watch the Tom Hanks one second if you've not watched it. That's my preference. Maybe that's because that's the way I watched it. But what a delightful story. And one of the quotes he has is, "Look for the helpers."
I love Look for the Helpers.
Look for the helpers. So tell me how you've seen the helpers, because I'm sure I've missed some of it, but I've been watching the helpers show up. Let me see, how's JA been experiencing the helpers?
You know, we've had just to try, you know, I think it's part of the Kansas City kind of way of life, but we've had a lot of people recognize that, you know, basic needs are a number one top priority in every community right now, and making sure that especially young people have their basic needs met. But we've also had a tremendous response from our volunteer group, people in the community that want to mobilize resources around young people and around education, supporting us. You know, we've had, we were very, very fortunate to receive a grant from School Smart Kansas City, who was giving, they had like a collective of funders that were mobilizing to support organizations that were helping young people in Kansas City public schools. And Kansas City Public Schools is we are a premier partner of theirs. We do the most program delivery in that school district of all the program delivery that we do throughout the year. And so we saw that they recognized that we were providing a very needed resource, and we needed some funding quickly to be able to pivot to that and focus on that. We've had volunteers who have wanted to stay involved with the organization, but are looking for ways to do that. So we've been exploring, how do we do virtual volunteering? Is there anybody who would like to talk about their career and do a video that an educator can show, or do a webinar on, or something like that? We have we've had special events that we've had to pivot on and shift, and we've had people say like, oh, I'll sign up for that, or I'll make a donation to that, or how can I help kids? And coming to us as a place where they can learn about how they can help kids. And so that's been really, really inspiring. And at the beginning, when all of this seemed just so overwhelming, you know, how do we work from home? How do we help kids when they're not in school? How, you know, for me personally, how do I parent and educate my child while working full time, and still keep things fun and light, and keep everybody as stress-free as it possibly can? And, oh wait, here's another grant deadline that's due tomorrow. And, you know, like, how do we navigate all of these things, to go from that and feeling very overwhelmed to feeling a sense of gratitude about the community that we're a part of, and really truly viscerally feeling like we are in this together, and there are people who care, and there are people who really want to make a difference. Where I feel like we're finally at that place, and we will emerge as a totally different organization on the other side of this.
Stronger?
I think so. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that people don't really want to go back to how things were before. I think whatever the new normal is, you know, we don't know what that looks like right now, but I don't think it'll be the same as going back to the way things were before, you know, when we were blissfully unaware of all of this in December or January.
Talk about, and maybe you don't know the numbers here. Do you know the numbers on how much money was raised? I know there was a campaign, and I don't remember if it was 2 million or 5 million. Then we had some big foundations match that. How much money was raised as a safety net for the not-for-profit community? Do you know?
I know they had, with the School Smart, I think they had a $2 million amount that was being granted out to different organizations. And I think with the nonprofit community, I think they had raised $10 million that was going to be granted to all nonprofits in the metro area.
metro area. You know, as I've watched a little bit. I'm trying not to be on the news a ton, but I've watched how, you know, some people that had the means really challenge people, and I know whenever, you know how you just give what you can, but thinking about, okay, how do we make sure people get some food, or we're involved with Young Women on the Move, and are you involved with them a little bit, Meredith? Do you know about that group?
No, I know, I'm familiar with the organization. Junior Achievement is not involved with them.
Gosh, I would think that they would love access to your curriculum. I don't know. You never know whose pond to me, all the ponds bleed together. That's part of my DNA. But it'd be interesting. We've been kind of supporting them a little bit, and they're feeding the community. They're feeding their community now, and trying to get their girls to reach back to the girls, because their system, they have a refurbished church that somebody gave to them, and they have a great chef, Gary Hild, that is cooking for them and helping. You know, you hear about food. People struggling to get food, but there's food. We just can't get it into the right hands. So there's just so much good. And so on Fun Friday today, we're celebrating what you guys are doing and how you're making it more fun for kids. Also, you guys are doing something really fun right now. So talk about what you have going on, your challenge for the group today.
Yeah, so one of the things that I noticed about myself over these last weeks that we've been at home is that I shouldn't be saying this in front of you, Dr. Robin, but, you know, since we're all here, full disclosure, I had been neglecting my physical fitness goals in a major way. And I think a lot of us do that. You know, we get real ambitious at the beginning of the year, and, you know, already between January 1 and today, a lot has changed for everybody. And there's been a lot of Mondays that have come and gone. There's been a lot of goals that have, you know, we've been hopeful and optimistic about achievement of certain goals, especially as they relate to fitness. But, you know, Monday never comes sometimes. And so I realized that I was neglecting my own fitness goals. And when we started the year, we had planned to have our 401k race for financial fitness on May 2nd, which is tomorrow, at the Liberty Memorial Museum. And as things started to transpire and shelter-in-place orders were put in place and extended, we realized that we needed to shift to doing a virtual race. And fortunately for Junior Achievement, we did a virtual race 2 years ago. And it was a lot of fun and very successful. And so we quickly pivoted to doing that. And it still starts tomorrow, and it runs through May 16th. And the idea is that you don't even have to leave your house. You can if you want to exercise outside. But these are all things that you can do at home. You can do any type of exercise that you want: weightlifting, aerobics, running, walking, you know, little videos that you might watch online or something like that. And you are routing yourself around a virtual map of Kansas City, and it's converting your physical activity to mileage and moving you across that virtual map. And the goal is that you would complete 40.1K, which is about 25 miles of activity in the 2 weeks. And so in order to get myself ready for this race, which starts tomorrow, I have been running/walking 2 miles a day. And I've been thinking about you, Dr. Robin, because I have my, you know, Be Good to People water bottle, and I get on my treadmill. If it's, you know, like mornings in the 20s, like I don't do that. I don't go outside when it's in the 20s. It's starting to warm up a little bit now. But I'll get on my treadmill or I'll go outside, and I give myself that gift of physical activity and of clearing my mind, and of the gift of being able to carve out that time and prioritize that time that I need. And so this time at home has given me that opportunity, and now I'm going to crush it, and I'm going to lap my coworkers multiple times around that track. And we have seen a lot of traction and excitement from the community in participating in this race, because it's a way for people to feel like they're doing something. You know, like okay, I can sign up for this race and I'm helping kids. The money that we raise from this will help support our programs, however they're being delivered, whether they're being delivered virtually or in classrooms. This helps prepare kids for the future and have the tools that they need to be successful. And so you can work on your own physical fitness, you can help kids in our community, and you can still connect with other people on that website, seeing people going around that virtual track. And as of this morning, we had 297 people registered to participate in this event. So we're pretty excited about that. There's still time to sign up. You can even sign up after the race starts.
I'm going to get signed up because I have a goal of trying to get to my 10,000 steps, and I'm kind of a 50s person. I could just throw on my Be Good to People hoodie and walk in 50s, but by God, we have a great week of walking ahead of us. So I will be signing up right after this. I've not signed up yet. A couple questions that came through. Can anyone sign up for the curriculum information?
Yes.
Anybody can.
Anyone can sign up. And I will make sure that we have those resources available to you, Dr. Robin, if that's the easiest way, if we can get them to you so you can get them out to everybody on the call or even other people that might be watching after.
Yeah, what Eleanor and Zach do is they put together a one sheet. That's okay. A PDF that when people get the reminder tomorrow, they can just hit download and they can pull up the quotes of the day and the website and the links. I mean, like I said, it exceeded my expectation. I was just planning on having a conversation, but I do love good follow-up. It's kind of it's part of my jam. So let's see, another question. Do you foresee any changes in education as we transition out of quarantine?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think that just how we operate school buildings, I think, is going to change dramatically. Who's coming in and out of the building, what special assemblies or other kind of supplemental opportunities for children, what does that look like? I also think as far as changes to education, it could be that distance learning in some form or fashion is going to be a part of how children learn for the next, 6, 12, 18 plus months to come. And we may be shifting back from classroom learning to distance learning. Maybe we'll go back to school in the fall and then have to do some distance learning in the winter. I think that there will be changes, and we just don't know what those really look like right now. I know that our school district partners are really focused right now on trying to complete the school year. We have another 3 weeks left to go in Kansas and Missouri for the regular academic year. They have shifted summer schools typically start in June. They've shifted those to July with the caveat that maybe they'll have to pivot from that as well, and have not made decisions about fall. So I think things will change, but I think it remains to be seen of how and in what specific ways that will happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I really do. I think it's going to be really good as we see the changes happening for our kids. And once again, as I've been hearing the last, really just started 48 hours ago, I've been hearing this is going to save this future generation for many reasons. If somebody wanted to volunteer, they probably go to the website, because I love the saying that I forget about my problems when I'm helping somebody else with their problems.
Love that. Yes. We have, if you want to volunteer, and in fact, I have our website pulled up right now. If you go to jagkc.org, you can find information about volunteering. It's also, I believe that's included with the, in our newsletter as well. You can sign up to volunteer or learn about specific things and have customize the communications that you receive. So if you're interested in signing up for your newsletter, our newsletter, let me know, and I'll make sure that you get added to that list.
Great. And so, Eleanor, I'll have you put Meredith's email on the follow-up sheet as well. Is that okay with you, Meredith?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, great. So we're going to start to wrap up the show. So if you all have any questions, this is a good time to continue asking. I love the interaction. It makes me so happy. So I do have a final question for you. Well, maybe final. You never know with my spirit. But what is your medicine that you share with the world?
Oh, look at you, Dr. Robin. My medicine that I share with the world. I just, I just try to really have, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I always try to have an attitude of gratitude every day and know that I am incredibly blessed. And I've had opportunities to do things, and I've had opportunities to have an education and attain, knowledge and experiences that have enriched my life. And I'm part of a fantastic community of people who support me and my family and, care about us. And, even just having this opportunity today to be, associated with you and the great work that you're doing. I feel like the medicine that I give is always remember that take time to pause, to be grateful for the blessings that you've been given. And those are very inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about how, I didn't know much about you a year ago, and now you're like a staple in my life. And so if you guys have any words that you want to share, now's a good time. Miriam says, thank you so much. I'm a former special ed teacher, and I can't imagine teaching my kiddos during this time. Your organization is doing essential work, and part of it's because they have great leaders with you, and not Melissa. Megan. I always want to call Megan Melissa.
Well, and we both have, so our president and CEO is Megan Sturgis Stanfield, and we have the same initials. So she'll get emails that say Dear Meredith, and I'll get emails that say Dear Megan.
Well, with you two at the helm of running Junior Achievement, we are in really good hands. And Dorothy said she loves your enthusiasm, and it's always contagious. And I want to give a shout out. We have a great community banking partner. It's my partner as well as your partner with Community America, who donated $1 million to your project.
Yes.
Holy moly, is that awesome?
Yeah, talk about attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah, it's definitely an attitude of gratitude. Well, I want to wrap up the show. And first of all, I want to tell you guys, so thank you, Meredith, for your time. I'm giving you I figured out how to give hugs, a big heart to heart hugs.
Thank you so much for having me. Just anything that you are a part of is something that is an automatic thing that I want to be a part of.
Well, I love you for that. And I'll tell you about next week, but I want to end the way I've been ending all the shows is how you inspire me. And a couple things. First of all, I'm a little OCD, in case none of you figured that out yet. And people will say, just look back at your text thread. I'm like, I don't keep my thread. Once I'm done with the text, I delete it 9 out of 10 times. I maybe have 9 texts on my phone, period. I mean, even from Crystal, I delete her texts. So, people are like, just look back at your thread. I told you that already. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Same thing's true of my voicemail, my emails, life. And I have a very few voicemails left on my phone. And I have a voicemail from you from last November where you left me the sweetest message. And when I'm feeling a little bit like I'm sucking my thumb, I listen to it. So first of all, you inspire me with your kindness. I truly, I want to tell you, my genes are kind. We talked about Dr. Jay Dunn about that earlier. It's just in my genetic DNA. And you might trump my kindness. So I want to say that's how you inspire me. So
thank you so much. I don't know about that because you're probably the kindest person I know, but I appreciate that so much. And I am a huge fan. If there was a Dr. Michelle Robin fan club, I think I would be the president of it.
Well, you are very sweet. Thank you for that. Okay, so let me tell you what's next. But I do have an assignment for you today. Besides the assignment that I really want to hear from you, I really need your help to help co-create what's next as we pivot to figuring out how to do this. I've loved seeing your faces. And when I've been doing I've done 7 seasons of a podcast, and I've only, every single week, and I've only re-recorded it. I've only played 2 shows over in 7 years. And sometimes we've added an extra show. People are like, didn't you take a break? And we've not taken a break. Because there's so many fascinating people to talk to. And I'm like a dog on a bone. Once I start doing something, I just try to be consistent. But I have loved seeing your faces every day, and I probably will never go back to just interviewing somebody without seeing faces. So that's kind of my takeaway of the last month. But earlier this week when I was preparing for Blue Valley Wellness, one thing I like to do is I'm a big hot bath freak. If you're ever one of my patients, you know I recommend Epsom salt soaks. And I typically do that, and I ask my spirit, what do I need to share today from you? God, tell me what words I need to have today. Not just all the, I've been around a long time, so I've got a lot of knowledge in my head and my heart, but what do people need to hear? And I have not brought this up all month for you guys, but I want to tell you what Spirit told me to share with them. It said, there's a tea exercise I like to do. So you get a big piece of paper and you put a T on it. Okay. So pretend that I had a white sheet of, the thing you stick on the wall and when you're doing a lecture. And one side put what you love and one thing you don't love. And it may be at the top you put quarantine life. As Ron and Beth Hall said, quarantine gel has been a good sentence. And I don't know about you guys, I'm kind of enjoying my life dialed back a little bit. So I'm like, okay, let's drip this out. Anyhow, make it so it's kind of like that. Love, don't love. Put quarantine life on it and start to capture with your family and friends of what you've loved about this experience and maybe what you've missed or not loved. So I was looking at my phone a while ago and here's the bad news of cleaning out your text real fast. I got a text for somebody that was on that call, happens to be a friend of mine, and Jill Schramm. And she said, by the way, we did our assignment and here's what it is. And we have way more positives on the positive side of quarantine life versus negative. And unfortunately, here's where it bites you in the ass. No pun intended. I did say it today, by cleaning out your texts, but I can't show it to you. But it was just absolutely lovely. Actually made my day. So I would encourage you to do that and think about, gosh, what have I really enjoyed? I've enjoyed knowing that at 12:30, I'm going to get a chance to talk to you all. I've not enjoyed that I've had to take a shower every day to do it, just so you know, but I have. Good news is I have pretty easy hair. So what have you really enjoyed? So that's your homework. Next week, we're going to Monday, Friday. We're going to stick with the 12:30 time. When you give me your thoughts, as we start to go back to air quotes normal, I would love for you to tell me what time of day and what days work for you. I mean, pretend that it's just you and I having a conversation and what would be the best for you. That's what I want to hear. Okay. Because you've taken the time to show up. And as we move forward and as we pivot and make some shifts here. Next Monday, we'll have only audio, not video, of Adam Hamilton. He's going to be at the lake and has poor Wi-Fi, but I prayed on it because I was like, no, I need a video and we'll reschedule. And my spirit woke me up this morning once again. She's bossy. She's a bossy bee. And she said, no, audio is just fine. And so Adam Hamilton will be on with us Monday. Next Friday, we're going to have Kristen Bruce. Kristen is married to one of the guys in Low Cash. She's a Nashville friend of ours. She's got a lot of wisdom to share. She's a young person that's doing some really great things. So she's going to share with us. And then we'll be dripping out some really other fun guests that I'll tell you about next week after I get them all finalized for the month of May. The question I have for you, do you want to do Memorial Day or not? What are your thoughts? Monday's Memorial Day. I got one thumbs up. Any other thumbs up? I got one thumbs down. I need a tiebreaker. Okay.
I say do it.
And people show up who show up.
Where's everybody going on Memorial Day? You're not going anywhere.
Well, I'm going to be at the lake.
Right?
But,
oh, well, okay.
But what I did last time when we started is I took my computer with me and just put it all up. Okay, so you know what?
We're going to nurture your spirit and take your vacation.
Yes.
Oh, this is a vacation chatting to all of you. Okay, so maybe we'll do it and we'll record it and then, okay, but Sean, if you thumbs up, okay, and Dorothy, you guys got to show up that day. So even if it's the three of us and Eleanor, we'll go for it. And then you guys can listen to that. It's going to be with family time. So I'll just postpone the lake time. I'll send everybody out to the lake and I'll catch up with them. So anyhow, it's lovely seeing all of you. By the way, you may get to meet some of my family. I've got a niece and nephew that are going to come to Kansas City. I'm going to break quarantine with them at the lake here in a few weeks. So you'll get to see them when we're all there together. I may have to introduce you. My favorite job in the world, just so you know, is being an aunt. It gives me tears to think about it. I've got 10 nieces and nephews and 5 greats, and I love time with my babies. I just absolutely love it. So anyhow, it has been so much fun hanging out with all of you today and this month. Thanks again for humbling me. And hey, go out and spread the good today. All right. Blessings to all of you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Robin.
Bye-bye. Heart to heart.
Heart to heart.
There you go. Oh, you get the other hand. Oh, you got your phone in one hand. You can't do both hands. All right. Bye, everybody.